Hey yo, Chico. What is up? It's the Dodcast. It's season 8, episode 9, I believe. We are really closing in on the end of the season now. We've got to recap, what was it, the Saints, and then predict the last week of the regular season. Nothing has been decided basically anywhere in any division at this point, basically. There's still a lot of movement that can happen in even just 1 week. So, I think there's the bronze and silver division. I think are like relatively like there'd have to be a lot of things to happen for much to change. Gold, it's completely up in the air. There's no telling what's gonna happen there. There is a couple of announcements to get into. First things first. So we were able to read this. There's a bunch of, and if you want to like read this entirely, you can pause it here and read it. I'm not going to read this whole thing because this video is always going to be long enough on its own. But basically, there's been some shit going down with nuclear fallout Chicago shit. There was a scrim last night where it was fucking up again, and at that point, I guess J-Rod was like, I don't even want to have this server anymore. And then he contacted them, and there was a whole email, which is this email that was sent. So potentially, when this whole thing is said and done, things might be looking better on the Chicago DoD server side of things. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. It's pure speculation saying that it will or won't work. But that could explain why things have been so, because it's not just like the server's bad, like we all say all the time. Like usually when we've missed a shot, I know usually I'm if you hear me yelling that, I probably missed the shot and I'm overcompensating. If you hear me a little more calm about it, then I probably shot right through the guy. But it's not that's been going on. The servers have been just like fucking spiking. Everyone's paying up to 500 and shit, like unplayable stuff. So we'll see. Hopefully that works out. Number two, and a little bit more of a sad announcement. This week's Frag of the Week on Railroad 2 will be the last Frag of the Week that War Within is going to make. Period. War has carried more than any 10 guys' fair share of the load when it comes to the Frag of the Weeks being made in KTP here. And yeah, he's going to be done after the Railroad 2 Frag of the Week, so submit everything you possibly can for Railroad 2 first of all. And then second of all, for the playoffs and Season 9 and beyond, it's going to be up to everyone else to carry the slack here. And if there's not a Frag of the Week, that's on us. War has probably, I can say pretty confidently, he has made more Frag of the Weeks than anybody else in DoD history. I don't think it's particularly close. He's done what, like, I don't know, at least like 3 full seasons. And I'm sure most other people are probably, there might be a couple people that are in like the double digits, like Chris. He might be double digits. I'm not for Frag of the Weeks. I think I've made like 6 ever. So yeah, gonna be the responsibility of the community to pick up the slack there, because War did a lifetime's worth of Frag of the Weeks already. So don't hesitate to thank him for his service in that regard. And, please, God, submit. It's the last one. There's no guarantee that there will ever be a Frag of the Week again. Not in playoffs, not in Season 9, not in Season 10. If you're ever thinking I'm going to hold on to a clip, this is not the week to do it. Get footage to the man, please. And lastly, I don't remember what there was. I feel like there was one other thing, and I've already forgotten what the hell it was. So, maybe I'll remember later. What was it? Fuck, I don't know. It is what it is. So before I get to the playing of the Saints frag of the week, just gonna think Oh yeah, so I was way behind, by the way, on getting my Twitch, my cast up onto the YouTube. It looks like it should be caught up now. I mean, it's because I was traveling so fucking much in those couple weeks, but yeah, it looks like everything did successfully go through, thank God, because that's not even a guarantee half the time. So yeah, anything that and I mean, if someone looks on here and doesn't see a game from the season, let me know, because I'll go in and individually check and make sure that I got it. Because soon stuff will start expiring on there, I'm sure. And we don't want that, because then it's gone forever. Because I stopped keeping a hard copy because my hard drives were filling up so goddamn fast from all the casting. Let's see. Like, which ones are about to start expire? Here you go. This expires in a week. Icy at Best Buds Railroad 2 World Series of DoD. I did that in September. That's done in 1 day. Our G-Skill Harrington match is done in 3 days. And then opening day of this season is expiring in a week, so this would be the time to let me know for sure. All right, now let's watch the second to last frag of the week of War Within's illustrious frag of the week making career, with a song from Petey. I think Petey was the one, right? Pretty sure. I mean, it's technically from me, it says, but Petey was the one in the chat that gave this to me. Was it Petey? ST Kevin on the Stas. Bausch. The Shh Brothers. Woo. Drew. Oh yeah, I think we saw this. Yeah. Darren. Yeah, that shot was nice. When Debo went flying across prone. And then the double. Piffy. Oh, oh, oh. Such an epic song. Jordan. Nice. Cadaver. Man, he looks so much more natural on the heavy. So much more natural. Good shit. That song was dope. I'm pretty sure it was Petey that sent it in my chat, but just in case it wasn't, sorry to whoever sent it. I feel like it was Petey. But well done, War Within, as always. And yeah, that song was sick. That turned out really, really nice. Okay, so there is like one match that hasn't been played yet from Saints. Oh, it's a new format, huh? Hot. Yeah, G-Skill Thunder. Oh, Clan X versus Price is Right. They haven't played yet either. Oh, that's kind of a big one. That's kind of a big one. I wonder when that gets played. Do we... Oh, whoa. That's like a backlog of it? Is it? What game we got? Thunder versus Ice. Yeah, so yeah, that is week 1. That's like going all the way back, it looks like. Yeah. Soul versus Over at... Wait, is that... Wait, what? That's last week, right? Soul versus Over already played. I don't know. I can't get caught up in this right now. This ain't working for me. I'm gonna be sitting here staring at this confused forever. But yeah, I think there's, I guess, 2 makeup matches still for Saints. Us versus G-Skill and Clan X versus Price is Right. Obviously 2 very large matches for the bigger picture of the standings in silver and gold. Just about everything to be decided basically between those 2 games. If Clan X, I think if Clan, actually, we'll get into it. Let's just start recapping shit. Okay. We're not going to do that one till next week. You could see what the score was there, but we're not going to do that one till the correct week. Okay, wait a second. Did I not recap this already? No, I probably did, right? I probably did. I must have. We're fine. I'm just going to move on because I assume that we did do that, and it was just in a weird spot. All right. First things first, Aftermath. The product is back. So, Harrington, Price is Right versus Volvo. This was a makeup match, obviously, from Harrington. Price is Right end up winning by, 22 points over Volvo there. First half, Allied side for Volvo, 216 to 139, plus 32 were the kills. They nearly won this half by even more. Price is Right did a really good job of mitigating damage. Obviously you can see there they had Caleb lagging out. We casted this game on HLTV delay. Missing a couple guys, no Riv there. No Pibian. Obviously, though, it's like an over problem here where there's no Pibian, but they just threw Soya in there instead, I guess. So, not that part isn't as big as obviously no Riv. But yeah, Volvo side of things, 39. Wua played out of his goddamn mind in this game. He's just been steadily getting more and more back into the swing of things as time has gone on, and then I think this is kind of the culmination of that. He had 39 on Allies, Yanni had 35, 29 for both Toki and Kingyo, 21 for Manners, 17 for Scotty, and then on Price is Right, Leo and Corey Price, 36 and 34 respectively. We're going hard to keep Price is Right in this game on the Axis side. Then Soya as well with 30, 22 for Tony, 15 for Ron, and then Caleb lagged out. I think he was probably around like 20-25, just based on the deaths versus the kills. And then they win by 99 on the Allied side. Just under a cap out, ends up being the total deficit. But Volvo still out-fragging them there in that half. And again, the big story, Wua with 43 kills, 82 kills for Wua here against Price is Right is, that's a headliner right there. You had 31 on, again, both Kingyo and Toki, and then 29 on Yanni, 28 on Manor, 27 on Scotty. Pretty close to breaking 200 in that half. They would just not go away. And on the Price is Right side, 38 for Corey Price, the slump buster. I know he felt like he was in a slump in recent times, but he certainly is not anymore after that game. 33 on Tony, 32 for Leo, 25 for Caleb, 21 for Soya, and 20 for Ron. Big win for Price is Right here, especially considering, Volvo, kind of like their specialty is the end of the season and how good they end up getting by the time the season has gone on up to this point. They had, as you'll see in a moment, another big win this week in silver. All right, next up, there was only one game this whole week that I didn't get to cast, and I knew it was going to be a crazy game, and I should have probably prepared something myself. I just kind of hoped that, somebody would record it, and they didn't. But Uncle Rico's Time Machine versus Rifle Nades. It's a 4-point game. Uncle Rico's Time Machine ends up winning this game by 4 points, and it is the one game I don't have a demo for, sadly. So I know nothing about what happened in this game. Looks like Axis side for Uncle Rico's, they win 58-56, -4 on the kill totals. For Rifle Nades, Iraq did 40 and 19. Pipes with another good game here, 32. And then 22 on Azilla, 20 for Steve, 18 for Fiero, and 17 for Henry. And then on Uncle Rico's Time Machine side, 38 for Cadaver. Like I said, he just looks so much more natural picking up the heavy. You know, I know him as a heavy. And that was, I think, a really good change for Uncle Rico's Time Machine overall, just getting him into a role where he's going to be naturally way more comfortable going routes that he would have gone, playing with the guns that he would have played with. 38 and 23 for Cadaver there is just full beast mode on the STG. 24 for G, who was also heavying this week, which explains why Kevin was on the Stas, as in Stark, not Purdy. Because Kevin Purdy was on the car, and he had 23, 21 for Ian on the other car, 21 for Nick on the Sniper, 18 for ST Kevin on the Stas, and that Frag of the Week clip. And then, yeah, they win by 2 points again. On the Allied side, 103 to 101, plus 6 for the kills. You had 29 on Pipes, 61 overall for Pipes. Outstanding every time he's played this season. 25 for Arachnid, 24 for Azilla and Fiero, 21 for Steve, and 18 for Henry. And then on Uncle Rico's side, 27 for both the heavies here, Cadaver and G. Cadaver with 65 top frags at MVP style, 26 for Ian Gilmore, and 22 for both Nick and Kevin. 23 for Kevin Purdy, and then 22 for both Nick and ST Kevin. And Uncle Rico's Time Machine with a win that they really needed, for sure. We won't look at the standings yet, but they definitely needed that win to stay in contention for one of the top spots there in the bronze division. Next up, we had No-Go versus the Wickeds, 273 to 58 for No-Go, remaining at the top. And I mean, it would be pretty tough for them to lose that top spot now, I think. If at all. It's possible that they've clinched first place. I forget. We'll look, though. But yeah, 181 to 29 on Axis, plus 31 for the kills. For the Wickeds, Jiraiya, 27, AZ with 27, 24 for Barinia, 21 for Ryan, 20 for Lucho. I'm being told how to properly pronounce these names slowly but surely, but it's not a Lu. It's not a U. It's a I just forget if it was Ko or Cho. I could look it up, but I don't like leaking people's DMs, so I will avoid doing so. I just had to make sure that I actually had display capture on and that you guys could see what I was doing before this video got too far gone. And then 11 for Leto. And then on the No-Go side, the Sh brothers, of course, continuing to put up strong numbers. Kush leads the way with 39, 33 for Spoon, 27 for the other Sh brother and Bausch, 26 for Blue Revolver, 20 for Three-Sided Quarter, 16 for Koi. The Sh brothers are the premier rifle duo in the bronze division right now, just making it crazy week in and week out. Bausch probably averaging 60 kills since he's been back. And then I love that Cushy changed his name to Couch in the second half here, where they win 92 to 29, plus 53 in the kills is one of the bigger deficits we've probably ever seen in kill total. Barini had a great game, though. 37 kills here on Axis in that half is wild that he was able to find, the impact he did. Same with Jiraiya on 27. Lucho, either way it is, I will remember eventually. 22, 16 for Ryan, and 15 for Leto and AZ. And then Greg finishing the top frag there with 40 kills on Allies. 37 for Blue Revolver, 33 for Bausch, 28 for Kausch, 27 for Quarter, and 20 for Koi. No-Go, a big win to get here as the season is ticking down to the end, and they try to hang on to that top spot in the bronze division. Now, balls. The next game was a weird one. This was a weird one. Oh shit, Spirit Vitality went to overtime? Wow, Spirit made the comeback. Okay, so Rodeo versus the Ninja. Now, Rodeo wins by 33, but here's the thing. The Ninja played... Wait, it's not that half. That's first half. This is second half. Did Ninja play this entire Axis side basically with 5 and end up only losing by 13, which was actually less than they lost the first half by, which is crazy. Mizgif lags out and never gets back in. Very unfortunate for the Ninja. They almost still win the game. in a 5-on-6 situation, which was just very crazy and admirable that they kept their wits about them and continued to grind out. Hopefully, as I said during the cast, like hopefully they don't let that game get down on them, because if anything, they should be proud of the way that they fought forth in that game. First half here, though, Rodeo 79-59 in the half. They lose the frag battle by 17. CK with 40. He was just running around doing crazy business all over the place. Had a really sick movie clip pushed up to the ship pile. I think he got like 8 kills between the car and the bar. Nick had 32. He also had himself some wild flurries there with the STG. 28 for Snipies, 27 for Meep, 13 for Grunt, 11 for LASIK. LASIK also had a really nice clip on the bridge to keep the Ninja off of it at one point. That was pretty important as well. On the Ninja side, 41 and 18 for Raven is crazy, crazy shit. We saw him get those Frag of the Week clips. Mizgift with 36 as well. Second top fragging, playing outstanding since he's been back here in the game. 31 for Illusion. 24 apiece for M1, which I still don't know who was M1 in here. Was it Manuk? Was it Low Carb? Was it Miller? I'm guessing it was Miller. That's my final answer. I think it was Miller, but I could be wrong. Ant with 24 and 12 for Verb. And then on to the second half here where you can see 5 players. And that was from, I think it was like 17-ish minutes that Ninja plays with 5. They lose the half by 13, but they out-frag by 21 with 5 players. And, just look at some of the kill totals, man. 52 for Illusion, 41 for Ant. Between the two of them, 93 kills. 93 kills. Those two guys account for like 3/4 of the kills that all of Rodeo had. It's wild. And then even also 31 on Raven. Between those 3 guys, they add up to basically as many kills as all of the Rodeo, trying everything they could to win this game. 23 for M1, 16 for Verb. And then on the Rodeo side, CK with 34, Snipies with 32, Nick and Grunt with 20, 19 for LASIK, and 17 for Meep. Most importantly for Rodeo, they do get the win, so they're still right in the thick of it. But yeah, that is just a crazy, crazy way for that game to end up going down. I watching that as it was happening, and I didn't do it live, but that's just wild. So, all right, you can see, that looks like it's up to date, right? Yeah, that is up to date. So I think No-Go wins. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, don't quote me on that. 65. And where's the other Rodeo game? 54. Okay, so maybe not. I actually think that if No-Go lost this week and Rodeo won, and assuming that they do, so if they do the tiebreaker by point differential, just like overall, then yes, No-Go is already clinched. If they do it by head-to-head point differential, the way that they always have, okay, it looks like Vitality won, and Donk is going to kill himself. If they do it by head-to-head point differential, which makes more sense, generally speaking, especially when you have multiple matches against each other like this, then if No-Go loses and Rodeo wins, Rodeo would actually overtake the 1 seed. So there is still movement to be had here. Also, if Rifle Nades won and Rodeo lost, then Rifle Nades would jump Rodeo, I think. Actually, no, don't quote me on that. Rifle Nades versus Rodeo. Loss. They only played him once. Okay, so maybe not. Never mind. That can't happen. Uncle Rico's could probably... Wait, they have 4 and 3. Oh, the game against the Ninja, right? Yeah. So, if they won that, they'd be 5 and 3, and then it would be a virtual tie. And then they also played, so maybe they're doing a doubleheader with the Ninja even. It's the Ninja for the other game, too. So if they won both of those, then they would be 6 and 3, and then they would take 3 spot unless Rifle Nades beats No-Go. So there's a lot, basically, moral of the story, there's a lot of shit that can happen there in the Bronze Division. we'll see what exactly goes down. All right, next up in the silver side of things, the performer of the week we're going to see in this game here, because it's No Name. He played 2 games and probably had a total of like 200 kills or something. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but he had a lot of kills between the 2 games. However, in this game, it is a win for Volvo. 104-98, Volvo take the cake here against GVMH. I know last week I was talking about how if there's a map that they're going to feel more comfortable on against a team like GVMH, it was Saints. I definitely didn't pick them to win, but I was very clear that this was a map that they are good on. And again, after saying that, they go out and win. So +6 was the total deficit there. They win first half 54-50, got out-fragged by 8. On the GVMH side, No Name at 38, as I said, 37 for Hooli, 26 for Pijisku, 24 for Aki, 19 for Raleigh, 16 for Sango. And on the Volvo side, 35 for Manor was the MVP. When all was said and done, Scotty with 28. He's always really good on this map. Yanni with 28 as well. 26 for Kingyo, throwing some wild nades that we saw. 20 for Toki, 15 for Wua. And then in the second half as well here, a 2-point win. It was just so close in both halves. GVMH did not stop fucking pushing, man. They were really trying to win this game. I thought they were going to pull it off with the way things looked. No Name, again, was trying to just put everybody on his back with 38 kills there on Axis. 35 for Raleigh, 28 for Hooli, the big 3 there. That's pretty much what you can expect out of these guys every week. Like, they're going to average out to about 35 to 40 kills between the 3 of them. It's ridiculous how consistent they have been. 23 for Pijisku, 21 for Aki, 16 for Sango. And then on the Volvo side, Scotty nearly dropping 40, going tit for tat with No Name in this half with the bar. 37 for him, 32 for Toki. Had some ridiculous clips across these 2 games, by the way. There's a Harrington one that was just a 3 no-scope clip to cap out. That was just like, what did I just watch? I had to go back and replay it like 4 times because it looked so fucking bizarre. He just looked out of his mind. 28 for Manor. As I said, he did end up being the MVP. I put a little vote up. I think only one person ended up voting in that poll. I was really hoping it would be like, ooh, everyone watching is going to vote, and that'll really help. But it was just one person, and that one person voted for Manor. It could have been Manor himself. It could have been Scotty voting for Manor. We don't know. But yeah, that was how the MVP was decided, because they both had pretty equal claim to the MVP there. I really couldn't decide. 25 for Yanni, 18 for Kingyo, 17 for Wua. A huge win here for Volvo against a team in GVMH that has been beating just like everybody, basically. All the games that GVMH have lost have been heartbreakers like this. I said it last week that you could easily have GVMH be undefeated right now, and that has not changed after this game. Like, it was another game that easily could have been a win for them. Coming up just short. They could easily be the clear-cut best team in silver right now, record-wise. So anyone who bases like their assessment of GVMH on the record is making a big mistake. All right. Next up, Best Buds versus Revived. Best Buds take down Revived. The first loss for Revived under the name Revived in the season. 129-106. Johnny, who happy birthday yesterday to Johnny Bernardi, if you didn't know, War Child. He came into the chat right before this game and said that Bobby was going to go off, and boy, oh boy, Bobby sure did go off. He had a crazy clip, which, how quickly can I pull it up? Oh man, I'm gonna have to go through my history. It's gonna take a second, but we're gonna get there. It can't be that far down. Where is it? There it is. Let's just show this. You're getting naded like fucking crazy, but with some of the extra stuff over here is interesting. Oh yeah, Bobby's a goddamn menace to society. See, Bobby's about to be a problem. Especially on the Grand. Bobby just dropped double 40s versus Price is Right. Buff. Bobby's warmed up. And I said he's got that Die Life Garand buff. This is a sick job by Petey making this, by the way, too. I don't know when the last time Petey would have made a fucking DOD movie clip was, but he was doing just fine.
Double kill again on the Garand. Bobby now up to 8-4. He's got a third. Reptar hat trick.
Bobby.
He's got 7. Reptar with 8. Reptar. No shot. He's gonna get number 9. He stopped shooting. No fucking shot.
I mean, here's the thing, and I was saying this when Petey sent this to me. He deserves this kill. Online, this should hit. Like online, especially with Bobby's ping combined with the ping on Revived, he deserves that kill online. On LAN, okay. That, right, the crosshair is like barely not touching. Okay, but online, with the pings that we got going on here, I kind of feel like that last shot deserves to hit. So, you know, just one man's bad opinion, but what a run from Bobby there. Okay, so back to where we were, 72-46. Revived win the Axis side there. Plus 34 were the kills for Best Buds, though. On Revived, 30 kills for Super, 29 for Anna, 26 for SQ, 22 for Manga, 19 for Lucky, and 18 for Fincher. And on the Best Bud side, 40 for Piff. He was the MVP. He was out of his mind. Frag of the Week clips and all. 30 for both War Within and Bobby there. Bobby was like fucking, I think, 18-3 at one point as well. Came out flying. 28 for Hopper, 26 for Adam, and 24 for Nicholson Eats Ass. And then on to the other side, it was 83-34. Best Buds are able to do enough to pull it back around here. On 83-34, plus 7 were the kills for Best Buds on their Axis side. 36 for Fincher. He was just fucking fragging bods, as was Anna at 29 and 22. 25 apiece for Super and Manga. 24 for Lucky. 22 for SQ. And on the Best Bud side, 30 for Bobby. 33 for Piff. I was going to say, I swear he had 30 this afternoon. 33 for Piff. 30 for both Bobby and Adam. 26 for both War Within and Nicholson Eats Ass. 23 for Hopper. Big win for Best Buds, going up against one of the hottest teams in Silver there as well, putting themselves in a good position as the season comes down. In the final week, they're going to be going against Band of Morons, I believe. So definitely they wanted to be in the win column going into that matchup. Did not do that. So I tried to break the curse. I thought I was cursing Clinic, and I think I might have cursed them even more in the process. Band of Morons win 186-76. I did what I'd never, ever allow myself to do when I picked against Clinic. I thought it would help them, and in fact, it just made things worse as Debo was stuck playing with nearly 200 ping the entire game. It was spiking all over the place just to make it worse. The fact that he got 30 kills on Axis was actually insane, with the way his connection was all fucked up. Again, these Chicago servers, hopefully what the server company is doing now is going to because they've been apparently doing some kind of work on them for a while now and are moving them and upgrading them and shit. So hopefully, especially with playoffs coming up, this is something that will be fixed by what they're currently doing. It was caused by it, hopefully, as well. Otherwise, I don't even know what we're supposed to do going forward. If that wasn't the problem, then the servers are just fucking cooked, and I don't know. So hopefully that is what the issue was. But in this first half here, 106-49, so that's what, plus 57 in favor of Band of Morons, plus 32 on the kills. As I said, Debo had 31 kills for Clinic to top frag, 23 for Sam, 22 for Tom, 21 for Garrett, 18 for Scott, and 18 for Walter. On the Band of Morons side, 38 for James. He was the clear-cut MVP here, played out of his goddamn mind. Top fragged, was just multi-kill everywhere. Darren, 34 and 18. He ended up 2-1 for the game, I believe. 28 for Drew, 27 for Cody, 25 for Miles, 13 for Paul, and then second half, 80-27, plus 32 were the kills for Band of Morons there. 34 for Scott. He was just like getting crazy streaks. As you expect from Suave, right? Like that's kind of his MO. He's gonna do some really crazy fucking like 4, 5, 6, 12 kill streaks. I think at one point he had a streak where it was like a bar kill, a car kill, a pistol kill, and a Garand kill or something. Like just some crazy run like that. Tom was 32 and 18, which is a crazy score to end up with in this half. Doing all he can to keep Clinic in its sniping there. 23 for Sam, 18 for Debo, 17 for Allen, 15 for Walter. And on the Band of Morons side, 36 for Cody. He was running all over the place with the Unter, just putting guys in the ground. James with 33, top frag, MVP overall. 31 for Drew, 24 for D-Frag, and 19 for 28 and 13 for Nicholson, I forgot. Again, over 2-1 there. 2-1 overall. And then 24 for D-Frag and 19 for Insight. And Band of Morons getting themselves in position here. That's right, the last match to do for Silver, so I can look at the standings for them now too. So they are 6-2. Where is Clan X? So Clan X has Price is Right, Saints game to play, and Volvo on Railroad 2. So right now there's a game in hand there. Band of Morons just have the Railroad 2 game against Best Buds. So, and Best Buds is tied with them as well. Wow. Shit, dog. All right, man. That's for all the marbles here. So here's the thing. If Price is Right beat Clan X in that makeup game, we have 4 teams tied at 6-2. 4 going into the last week of the regular season. They play against Emo Frag Squad. Clan X play against Volvo, and Best Buds Band of Morons play each other. So only one of them can come out of it with 2 losses still. So we could end up with a 3-way tie atop the division. Head-to-head wise, let's see here. Price is Right beat Band of Morons. They would have beat Clan X for it to get to that situation at all, too. Clan X lost to Band of Morons. And obviously they would have lost the Prices Right there if it got to that point where there was this big tie. And then Band of Morons would have a loss to Prices Right. And okay, so I guess, yeah, it depends. Because then it depends on who won the Best Buds Band of Morons game. They beat Clan X. Best Buds lost to both those teams. So really, if Best Buds were to be the other team there, then it would be Price is Right, Clan X, Best Buds, Band of Morons. If it was Band of Morons, it would be Price is Right, Band of Morons, Clan X. And then if Clan X wins against Price is Right, I think... Okay, yeah, so they'd have to lose to Volvo. They'd have to lose one or both of these games to not get first place. They hold all the cards. If they just win these 2 games, boom, that's it. They take it. Doesn't matter what else happens. Only deciding who will be in second place from there. So Silver, very interesting. Very curious to see where this all ends up when all is said and done. Lots of potential movement to go on there, of course. Now, on to the gold side of things. We did have a makeup match here, and of course, it's the biggest match there is in DoD right now. It's Icy Hot and G-Skill, and this was a crazy game. It was not only just crazy in the game, but then we also had Tam raid me at the time, and it was like another 50 viewers coming in right in the middle of it, so, you know, there's just a lot of hectic shit going on, and I was trying to, like, not ignore all the new people in there and be like, hey, I'm sorry, but this is, like, really crazy. I can't really stop and explain what's going on here, because this is kind of like the craziest possible game here, being Icy Hot versus G-Skill, and on Harrington, and how nuts it was, just fucking back and forth, cap. You had no clue who was going to win this game until the final fucking second ticked off. So, first half here, G-Skill on the Allied side, they win by 29. Very close half. The frags, though, are plus 33 for Icy Hot. They almost break 200 on their Axis side. They were really focused on having as many bodies in mid as frequently as they could. I mean, maybe they weren't focused on that, but they it seemed like they were. There was guys in, like, numerous guys in mid all the time. On the G-Skill side, 32 for Andrew, 32 for Milo, 27 for Frank, 26 for Taylor, 23 for Chuck, 22 for Colin. And on the Icy Hot side, 40 for Ben. On the Axis side, what a half for him. 39 for Sean right behind him. 33 for William. Those were the main three guys that were pretty much always in mid. 31 for Jesse, 30 for Justin, 22 for Chi. They had 5 guys with 30 kills. And that's really like the big reason that G-Skill isn't able to establish a bit more of a lead for their allied side here. Actually, the deaths were exactly 200 there. But yeah, that was really the big reason was just Icy Hot was on fire. They were sharp. They were hitting their shots. They were making it really difficult to get anything going here. Otherwise, you know, G-Skill maybe can establish more of a lead in this half and end up walking away with the dub here. But then second half, Axis side for G-Skill, they do keep it absurdly close. You know, I think if in a lot of other teams' cases, after a half like that, you would probably think like, oh, well, they're just going to end up getting like blown out overall here. They didn't get nearly enough of a lead on their allied side. But no, G-Skill, of course, almost goes out there and wins on Axis side right back. Ended up losing by 35 in the half there, so a 6-point loss overall. Icy Hot, again, basically 200 kills there on the allied side. For G-Skill, Andrew played out of his mind, 43 kills. Oh, and also, we should talk about that fucking Milo clip on allied side. Is there a way for me to quickly get it up here? Milo clutch, there we go.
Be the way to do it, right? I feel like that was the
He already had one there.
I had to try.
This is actually a 4K.
Milo is in such a tough spot here. 6 gonna go down. Can G-Skill hang on? Milo comes back out of the sewers. Oh my God, Milo clutches it out. Oh my God, Milo hits the bar snipe. There's no fucking way, Milo. And Justin.
It's actually a 5K.
Highlight reel after highlight reel as Milo makes it cuatro. Oh my God.
Unreal. I mean, that was crazy. Here you can see Andrew getting one of the cap out on the Axis side.
Goal!
Look at that.
Oh my.
He crip walked, man.
Cap out, and in the meantime, they've lost everything.
That looks insane, dude. That looks fucking insane. Oh, that's great. What's this? Imposter. This is the Dice Icy Hot game.
Don't need to cap out. Wait, T isn't in the HLTV.
Oh.
There's a fake T in the HLTV. Unbelievable.
There was.
Yeah,
there was somebody in the HLTV who was making himself out to be T. I was very confused. There was somebody in there as Debo as well. I think somebody said who it actually was. I think Caleb was one of the people in there and somebody else, but yeah, I forget exactly who it was. But yeah, anyways, back to what was going on here. 4 G-Skill, 43 for Andrew, just a crazy game for him. Same with Milo, 34 on Axis side, 30 for Frank, 22 for Taylor, 21 for Chuck and Colin. And on the Icy Hot side, Chi with the MVP, 39 and 17. He was just everywhere. He did a fucking outstanding job of constantly being up G-Skill's ass at Sandbag and at Top of White. That was really the difference maker, honestly, when all was said and done. Like, if you could swap out a lot of other stuff, but I think if you remove Chi's impact in this half, I think that it might have been enough that G-Skill were able to win this game. It's just every time they were going to try to establish themselves in mid or go for a mid break or whatever, Chi was there at Top White, undetected, and just being a menace. 39 and 17 for him in the half. 36 for both Sean and William. 33 for Jesse. 29 for Justin. 26 for Ben. Like a crackhead with this balls in my mouth. And yeah, Icy Hot go 2-0 on the season against G-Skill here. Right now we have a carousel of beating each other at the top of the gold division. We are 2-0 against Icy Hot. Icy Hot is 2-0 against G-Skill. And after this Sunday, G-Skill will be 2-0 against us. I guarantee it. We have not played Saints as a team at all, and I don't think, outside of those of us who played this version of the map in the draft, I don't think anyone else has played it. So, really, really good time for the rest of Thunder the guys on Thunder who aren't around to not be around here. This is exactly the kind of week that we need to be scrimming when we have 2 matches on Sunday. So that's my guess of what's going to happen. I never pick against G-Skill, not even against my own team. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, if we were to win against G-Skill, then we would take first place, and G-Skill would take second, and ICAT would take third. If we lose to G-Skill... Actually, I think if we lose to G-Skill... Yeah. If we lose to G-Skill, it just reverses. We take second, G-Skill take first, and ICAT takes third, because we don't have the 3-way tie because of this game. The last game, to recap here... Okay, no, there's another game, too. Well, I just did that segue. So, Dice beat Icy Hot in the later game of that doubleheader, 140-129. This was a weird one. Dice had multiple guys disconnecting, like computer, DOD crashing, internet shit. I think it was the game for them, but both Stealth and Die Life had multiple disconnects in this game, and somehow Dice win in the end. That's just so Dice of them. They will just not stop fucking fighting you. So, Axis side for Icy Hot, 61-47. Icy Hot win. The kills were plus 30, but again, that's with both Kevin and Matt having disconnected multiple times, so it's probably much, much closer than that. You can see, death-wise, it's actually 168. So, as far as the deaths versus kills go, it is spot on. 168-168. However, on the Icy Hot side here, 32 for William Sick Blackwell, 30 for both the heavies there in Justin and Jesse, 28 for Sean, 25 for Ben, and 23 for Chi. And on the Dice side, Paul keeping things afloat with 36 on the bar there, 29 for Johnny and for Alex, 26 for Chris, 10 for Matt, 8 for Kevin, but those are lagouts there. Plus 14 was the lead for Icy Hot at the half. And then on to the second half. We're missing someone from the screenshot here. Justin is not in the screenshot there. Looks like the kills were basically, again, tied. Dice do win the half, though, by enough. 25 points, 93-68. On the Icy side, Jesse with 31, 27 for Ben, 25 apiece for Chi, Sick, and Sean. On the Dice side, it was crazy to watch because they were switching classes it was not going well to start. Let me put it that way. It looked like Icy Hot was going to run away with this thing, with the way things started off, and then Dice, just the ever-adaptable boys that they are, made some class swaps out of nowhere, and then guess what? They didn't stop making class swaps. If you thought you knew who was sniping, we killed the sniper, we got stealth, never mind Paul's sniping, never mind Johnny's sniping, never mind Matt's sniping. They had a new sniper every fucking life. Somebody new on the car. Matt went from the car to the Stas to the Unter to the car to the Stas to the Unter. Kevin went from the sniper to the Unter to the Stas to the heavy. Paul played every class in this half. He ended up on the Stas in the end. Chris and Alex might have been the only two who didn't swap anything. So Alex with 34 kills, of course, beast. Matt with 33, 24 for Chris, 23 for Paul, 22 for Johnny, 18 for Kevin. Chris had himself some really nice runs here. His internet is fixed, and you could really see the difference in how consistent his kills were actually registering. Instead of him just shooting through guys randomly at times, really, really rough shooting. Not just oh, that guy looked like he might have shot through. It's we've seen some crazy, nasty work by DOD on Chris when his internet was fucked up. So that is good news for Dice heading into the playoffs, having Chris able to rely on bullets hitting. He had a couple of sick clips in this game for sure. And a huge win for Dice there. Breaking the streak that was going on in gold where only Icy Hot was beating G-Skill, only G-Skill was beating Thunder, and only Thunder was beating Icy Hot. So now we finally had a wrench thrown into that mix here so that there wouldn't be a 3-way tie atop the gold division. And of course, it was Dice against Icy Hot. I mean, I'm telling you, styles make fights, right? It's just one of those things where, like, certain matchups are just going to be better for one team than the other. Obviously, Icy Hot did beat Dice earlier in the season on Anzio, but that's kind of the way these two teams go at it, right? They trade blows. Just like the best of three where, went to the full third map, and that was a close one, too. Those games with those two teams are fucking nutty, always. You know they're destined to face each other in the playoffs in a best of three now, too, I'm sure. So... yeah, we'll have to be on the lookout for that. Actually, they might not be destined to face each other in the playoffs. So Icy Hot, I think, is guaranteed third place now. They're done. Their season's over. They played against Seoul already. We saw that they beat Seoul. We'll do that during the Railroad 2 week. So they're 6-3. G-Skill with 2 games to play still. Yeah. So when G-Skill beats us, they'll both be 6-2. And then even if we lose our game, though, we would then be tied with Icy Hot, and we have the tiebreaker on them. So we can't go below number 2. So Icy is locked in at 3. I think Dice is locked in at 4 as well. So it would be the bottom portion here for sure is Icy Hot versus Over, Dice versus Soul. And then I don't know how, I don't think that they could possibly play each other before the finals. Right? No, they can't. Because then, so say they both win those games, then it would be, I guess, let's just say we're the number 1 seed. I think we would play Dice, and I think G-Skill would play Icy Hot. So then, they wouldn't be able to face each other until the finals. That's kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to seen another Dice Icy Hot playoff game. But if we're going to get it, it's going to be on the biggest fucking stage possible. So that would be kind of fitting too, right? That would be kind of fitting. All right, last game to recap. Where'd it go? Seoul versus Over here. So Over, as I alluded to earlier, ended up having to use ringers. And one of them was No Name, and he went off again. Got to be the performer of the week for that. Playing 2 games back-to-back, and not top fragging in both, but like almost top fragging in both. I think Hubie ends up out fragging him here. But first half, Allied side for Over, 76-26, plus 50, plus 44 were the kills. On the Soul side, Craig had 33, Jordan had 31, 19 for Jared and Shreddies, 18 for Justin, 15 for Ryan. And then on the Over side, 39 for SZ. He was just fucking killing everything in this game, man. 37-17 for Devin on the Sniper. So, they don't have Nightmare, they have Nick. If they don't have Nick, they have Devin. And he goes 37-17 with the Sniper as well. Just Over problems to have where no matter what's going on, you're going to have an elite Sniper. 31 for Caffrey, the bar's there with 70 kills. 27 for No Name, 24 for Koom Koom, 21 for SQ, who was the other ringer for Over here. He also had just played a match. And then second half, 70-39, plus 41 are the kills. On the Soul side, you got, I can't tell what the fuck that score says for Jordan. Is that a 23 maybe? Looks like 27 for Craig, 25 for Jared, 23 for Justin, 23 for Blackhawk, 18 for Ryan, 17 for Shreddies. I don't know. It's tough to say for sure. And then on the Over side, 39 again for SC, 78 kills for the man, the myth, the legend, 37 for No Name. He was out of his mind, as I said. 28 for Devin, 27 for Caffrey, 26 for Koom Koom, and 22 for SQ. Over getting themselves in the win column, although that's not reflected there. They did win. So Seoul, I think, is technically 2-7, and Over right now is 1-7, and they still have a match to play. They could end up 2-7, and then we would have a tiebreaker situation. And who would get that tiebreaker? Over, let's see, they lost by 43, and they won by... oh, they would get the tiebreaker. They would get the tiebreaker. Okay. So in the event that Over beats us on Railroad 2 here, they would actually jump Seoul in the standings. So then it would be Over versus Dice and Icy Hot versus Seoul. But if we beat Over, then Over stays at the bottom. They play Icy, and Dice plays against Soul. So we'll see what happens there. Only the times will tell. All right, where are we at here? Under an hour, man. Yagoon, you're killing it, dog. You're killing it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to recap the Icy Hot versus Soul game. Who gives a shit? 259-47. Icy Hot beats Soul on Railroad 2. I can see the future. This is Railroad 2. That's first half. Wrong order, Jesse. Unbelievable. So 181 to 125 were the kills for Icy here. 149 to 15 on their allied side, that is. So for Soul, you had 28 for Jared, 24 for Craig, 22 for Cam, 18 for Shreddies, 18 for PB, 15 for Jordan. On the Icy outside, 41 for Jesse, 39 for Benjamin, 34 for Sean, 28 for Justin, 20 for Sick, and 19 for Chi. And then on the Axis side, 110 to 32 plus 44 in the kills. For Soul, 28 for Cam, 27 for Craig, 25 for Justin, 20 for Jared, 17 for Shreddies, 14 for Blackhawk. There's a lot of fun plays in this game by both teams. You know, I mean, the players on these teams are nuts. It's just Icy Hot just was, you know, they pretty much locked Soul out of this game right from the start. Soul had moments on Allied side where, you know, it looked like they were going to be able to make it closer, but Icy Hot didn't quite break. But yeah, Icy Hot just controlled this match really, really strongly from the start, and their players were all very, very sharp as well. My theory is that they played this game this early because they didn't even want to get involved with the whole, what Railroad 2 are we playing this week, and the potential for it to be like some version that gets made at the last second. That's my theory. I have no idea if that's true, but I just had this thought when I was like, wait, what the fuck? They played on Monday? Like, what? Why would they do that? And then, like, I started hearing people talking about Railroad 2 and all these new versions, and I was like, oh, those evil geniuses. They've just played the version that, you know, the Railroad 2 test that we've been playing for seasons. They played early so they could just be like, fuck it, we don't have to even deal with any of this shit, and we can just play the version of the map that we've gotten accustomed to and let everyone else deal with all the bullshit. I have no idea if that's actually true. It's very possible that it's not true. That was my first thought when I saw that they played on Monday, like immediately, and people started talking about what version of Railroad 2, this and that. I was like, oh my God, that's probably why they played that early. That way they could just play whatever fucking version they wanted. Sick fucks. On the Icy outside, though, on Axis, 35 and 16 for William in Apartments, 33 and 19 for Ben. What a game for him. He was the MVP. 31 for Sean, 27 for Justin, 25 for Chi, 24 for Jesse. And that does it for the season for Icy out at 6-3. One loss to Dice on Saints, 2 losses to Thunder. That was on Lennon and... what the fuck was the other map we played them on? Solitude. Oh, yeah. See, I try to push Solitude out of my brain, so that's really what happened there. And yeah, that does it for the recap. Since I made it in under an hour, I saved future Corey a little bit, like 30 seconds of extra work. But Vitality in the lead so far in map 3 against Spirit. All right. Let's get down to brass tacks here. Final week of KTP Season 8. Once again, fucking submit to War Within. It's the last frag of the week you're ever going to get. Fucking submit. In the Bronze Division, we've already talked about where everything sits right now, right? We know what's on the line here, so we can just talk gaming. Rifle Nades, no-go, gotta be the match of the week there. Uncle Rico de Ninja is a really good one as well. And then Rodeo versus the Wickeds. So, Rodeo versus the Wickeds here. For the Wickeds, their lineup very much in flux always. Jiraiya usually plays. Bill usually plays. Ryan's gotten in there a bunch. AZ a bunch. Jiraiya Jr. is not around that often. Leto usually plays. Zaps, Lukcho, and Barinia. Barinia and Zaps, I think, are the two like marquee names there. Barinia, we just saw in that Saints game how nuts this man can be. And then on the Rodeo side, so I'm not sure when Nick has to be gone for surgery. If it's just like the playoffs, if it's any day now if he might play this week or not. But eventually they are losing Nick from this lineup, which is a tough loss. CK is going to play. Meep has been playing. Snipeys has been playing. Lasik has been playing. Grunt's been playing. And then E-Man. If anyone's missing, it's probably Bestia that goes in. Obviously, having a player as good as Bestia there to slide in anytime is massive for the rodeo. He is a really, really strong player that could easily just be starting and make that team even better. But, obviously, Railroad 2, this matchup, you got to favor the rodeo here. While it wasn't the best situation for them last week, having things be as close as it was in a 6-on-5 game, you still gotta look at them as being one of the elites in the bronze division. I think a lot of it might be map dependent at times. I don't know how much they've really gotten to scrim in recent weeks. If they want to make a run and be able to beat No-Go in a best of 3, though, they need to get in the scrim server. And be prepared for whatever their lineup is going to be for the bulk of the playoffs. That's the lineup they need to start scrimming with, because regular season's about to be over, and now you're looking at best of 3s, and you cannot even start looking ahead because you almost lost to the Wickeds on Armory. You could easily lose to the Wickeds here and end up dropping down in the standings right when the playoffs kick and end up with a much worse matchup when all is said and done, potentially. So, Rodeo, it's just a matter of getting their shit together now. Put the Ninja game behind them. Put all that behind them. Get ready for the playoffs here when things really end up mattering the most. Just get out there and play as much DOD together as you can. It doesn't matter if CK is there for the scrims or not. CK is going to end up being sharp one way or another, right? So even if he's missing, get a scrim, get in the server, do whatever you can to get some reps in, to have conversations about game theory and strategy and stuff, and they'll be fine. They are as skilled as a team as anybody in bronze. I think it's just everything else right now is the big difference with them, where they're just not quite sharp. And they're going to need to get sharp for the playoffs, because I assure you the rest of the teams will be. On Railroad 2, though, you've taken them against the Wickeds here. The Wickeds, I think, can make this game very interesting. We already, as I said, saw it on Armory. I think they are very, very capable of pulling off an upset this week. I just think CK is going to be very motivated to go out there and get 120 kills and put the game out of reach. So I take the rodeo in that one. Next up, Uncle Rico's Time Machine versus the Ninja. For Uncle Rico's Time Machine, you got Nick, you got the two Kevins, you got G, you got Ian, you got Cadaver. Cadaver played out of his mind last week on Saints. This team is a team that, again, as I said, all season is just going to continue to get better and better and probably get ready to peak right around playoff time, getting Cadaver on the heavy, and then we see him go out there and top frag last week. Massive. On the Ninja side, so we've had Illusion, Verb. Now, Low Carb has gotten in there from time to time, too. It's possible that was Miller last week. I really don't know. It could have been Manuk. I don't know who M1 was, but let's say it's Illusion, Raven, Ant, Verb, or Low Carb probably in that spot. One of the two. Mizgif, Manuk, or Miller, potentially. I don't know which one was the one that ended up on the other heavy there, but the Ninja is very, very tough team. Very, very tough team. And this is a map that, all these guys generally, they've all played it plenty of times. Like, there's not going to be a learning curve on Railroad 2. Doesn't matter what version of Railroad 2 it is. That part is completely irrelevant. They will all know how to play Railroad 2. However, Uncle Rico's Time Machine will probably know even a little bit better. They've probably played it even a little bit more when you combine all their time together here. I feel like what's the Ninja's record? They're 0-for right now, and they have 2 matches to play against Uncle Rico's Time Machine, and I feel like there's a not, 50-50 chance, I would say, that they win one of those games. The Ninja is no joke. I mean, they almost beat Rodeo playing half the game 5-on-6. So, it's doable. I would say, what was the other game that they were supposed to have a makeup on? Armory. Which game do I think is more likely for them to win? I would say Armory, just because for Uncle Rico's Time Machine, all the guys that, are old school players will not have had to play Armory nearly as much as all the other maps. There's a lot more room for error in that one. I don't know, though. I think Uncle Rico's Time Machine probably overall is the second best team in bronze right now behind No-Go. It's just that, they've had a couple tough games here that have put extra losses on their record. Very, very tough games where they could have easily won them as well. They did beat the Rodeo as well in their matchups. So that kind of tells you, I think the pecking order in that regard. I would love to see those two teams play each other in a best of three, to decide that once and for all. But, man, I don't know. They play, I'm assuming they're going to play each other twice on Sunday. And, I mean, my bold prediction is that it goes 1-1 and that the Ninja gets a win on the board in one of those two games. I think if we're just talking about Railroad 2, I'm going to go with Uncle Rico's Time Machine here. I think that the star players of the Ninja definitely could take over. On a map like this, that can be enough. Having like two guys really go off, that can be enough. If just like Illusion, whatever route he ends up going, if he's kind of dominating that route and Raven and the Lofts are dominating his area, that could be enough to win right there, to be honest. This is a map where you can have a couple of individuals kind of carry the bulk. It's not, the other players have to be doing their job. They can't just be dead bodies, but they don't need to be going off. You can have a pretty individual carry effort on a map like this. So it's quite doable. I'm going to just go with Uncle Rico's Time Machine for Railroad 2, but I think it'll be a really fucking close game. Again, with the pure skill of some of the Ninja's players we've seen be able to keep games closer and closer as this lineup has gotten to be the Ninja lineup, and I think it's very scary for whoever has to play them in the playoffs. That is bad news for whoever, who would it potentially be? The 3 seed? So assuming that Rodeo wins, it could be... Man, it's either Rifle Nades or Uncle Rico. It's probably Rifle Nades. That's scary for Rifle Nades. I guess, hypothetically... Uncle Rico... They lost to Rifle Nades by 3. But then they won again. Oh my god, no way. No way. So if they win both these games and Rifle Nades win their game, they tie. And Uncle Rico's Time Machine would win the tiebreaker by 1 point. They lost by 3 and they won by 4. Oh man. Wow. And then Uncle Rico's Time Machine would be the one who would have to face the Ninja. Wow. Oh, that's potentially very dramatic. I mean, for the sake of chaos, I kind of want to see that happen because that would be the razor thinnest margin ever in KTB. That's some T3 Thunder shit where I don't remember how many matches we played against each other or maps overall, but the total score between the 10 maps that we played against each other, it was we won the series. I think in matches we won 5-3, and then overall maps it was 6-4 or something like that, and the margin was 45 points in 10 maps. That's this kind of shit. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what happens now. I didn't realize just how dramatic that was, but Jesus Christ. All right. And on to the match of the week, Rifle Nades versus No-Go, the brothers of Bausch and Kush for No-Go, along with Greg, Blue Revolver, 3-sided quarter on the sniper, and then, whether it's Deidro or Jamie or Coy, whoever it is, you're getting a rock-solid guy in that last spot. For Rifle Nades, it's a little more unclear from time to time. Arachna and Azilla generally are there. Firo's usually there. Chrono is usually there. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, Pipes kind of deserves to play. If he can play, they should probably be playing him. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would assume... Can I, narrow that straight down here? Oh, this is individual matches. what you might want to see. Where is Pipes? Pipes. I'm just curious because I feel like he has had really good stat line. Can I control F? God damn it. Where is he? Matches played in 2. Can I sort this? I think he's only played in 2 games. Oh shit. It's at least 2. It could be 3, I guess. Fabian. I don't see him anywhere. Maybe I'm just not noticing it. Or it's not fully quite up to date. I mean, you would think he would be in like the hasn't played section of it even too. So, I don't know. He's not popping up there, but I'm pretty sure he's averaging like 62 kills per game, basically. I'm pretty sure. Don't you quote me on that, but right off the top of my head, I mean, he should be in this section at least, right? He definitely just played a game. Yeah, there he is. He had 61 kills there. What if I search it here? Pipes. So he had 60 and he had 61. I was pretty close. 60 and 61. I rest my case. So yeah, he probably deserves to get in there. Could be the last guy is any of pretty much the rest of the team. Could be Steve. Could be Boom. Could be Celts. Could be Virus. Could be Henry. I think it's been Henry a lot of the time and Boom. But man, that's a big one as well here. This could decide the top seed in the bronze division here, as well as the number 2 seed, as well as the number 3 seed. I think No-Go... Oh, fuck, I just hit my fucking wooting button. I think No-Go is the team, period. In the bronze division, they're just so well-rounded. Obviously, they won silver last season. Different lineup, but they're still No-Go. And I have trouble imagining a world where they're likely to lose very often. You know, that one loss they have was really CK running out of Red Room on Lennon and killing 5 guys and capping out. That's it. Outside of that, it's been a flawless season for No-Go here, and I don't suspect that is going to change anytime soon, but this is a good matchup for Rifle Nades to potentially do that. I think they match up well. With No-Go here, it's just that the studs on No-Go, like the big-time X-Factor fucking frag psychos of the brothers and Greg. You know Greg is going to be just running all over the place in apartments, getting 60-plus kills, and then you're going to have to deal with the brothers on 2 different sides of the map, you know, like a ticket and a long, a 4-way and an apps, a 4-way and a long, whatever. It's a lot to overcome. Sniper battle is a good one. Certainly Arachnid can help level things out with a strong sniper performance from those lofts, just keeping things under control in the middle area from afar. But 3-sided quarter also likes to kill 4 guys at a time. So, you know, even if Arachnid won the sniper battle overall, you know, No-Go doesn't need 3-sided quarter to go like 80 and 20. They just need him to get those fast 3-4Ks, hit those picks on the guys dropping out of spawn or on the guys coming up 4-way. And that's what he brings to the table. He's an explosive streak kind of guy. So I go with No-Go here. I'd say by like 25. I think Rifle Nades will be in this game right up to the end, but I think No-Go finishes out the season with 1 loss. So close to a perfect season for them, but they do take the top seed when all is said and done. That's my prediction. Now we get to the chaos of the Silver Division. Revived has a bye this week, so their season is done and dusted. Volvo versus Clan X, Clinic GVMH, Best Buds, Band of Morons. That's a big one. These 2 matches here are probably the biggest ones. And then Emo Frag Squad versus Price is Right. So Emo Frag Squad versus Price is Right. From what I hear, Price is Right is having some issues with like getting 6 right now. It's unclear who their 6 is going to be. Generally speaking, 9, Caleb, Corey, I guess maybe not Pibian, Riv, but I don't know if he's going to be there. Hip has gotten in there now. Leo, Soya, Trance is always available. Well, I don't know if he's always, but he's one of the backups. Unclear what the lineup is looking like this week, and it sounds like they may need to use ringers. And then on the Emo Frag Squad side, you pretty much know who the 6 is. Steve, Matt, J-Rod, Ian, Saf, and Apple. Here's the thing, right? If this were, Price is Right's lineup, exactly what it's going to be. It's their main 6. It's a much easier prediction. As I just said, on a map like this, strong individual performances can be big difference makers. And if Price is Right is missing some of their best players, it gets a lot more interesting. Emo Frag Squad's got guys like J-Rod and Modgers who can just dominate a whole, we've seen it. That's how they won on Railyard, was like Matt and J-Rod both had about 80 kills. And similarly on this map, that can be enough. Again, your other players need to be doing just their jobs. And I think that's something that's important for everybody in DoD to understand, is that you don't need 6 guys to be getting 40 kills. It's just not going to happen. Like, not only do you not need it, it's not going to happen. There's only so many kills to go around. And realistically, you should be looking at, like, half the team being the guys who are really, like, going to get those high numbers. And then the rest of the team, you need to find the kills in the right spots as the other guys. You're more support players. Most often, the sniper is one of those support players. There's some teams that their sniper is one of the, showcase fucking fraggers, but generally speaking, the sniper class is a more support class in this day and age because players are just so good that you have guys like Element who, with a Garand, are able to basically just go up against a sniper from afar and win that duel. So it is. You can't just have like 2 guys dominate and that's enough to win. You need everyone else to still be playing their support role properly. So it's a little bit of a misnomer saying like, well, you can win with just 2 guys dominating. No, you do still need the rest of the players. Not, they can have a bad score. That's not relevant. It's that they get the kills in the spots that they need to get them. And they're not just like completely dead weight, right? So it's saying like, well, just J-Rod and Matt need to have a good game and that's enough. No, that's not the case. Everybody still needs to contribute in certain ways. And that's a lot more of a fine line when it comes to playing that support role. Like, take it from me, as somebody who's had to kind of, in the KTP era, adjust my play style and learn to be a support player, which I wasn't, up until however long when the game died, 2015 or whatever. I was never a support player, and it's something that is a learning curve for people to figure out, and it's an interesting discussion. I've thought about doing videos about stuff like this and, the minutia of DoD and stuff like that, but I think on a map like this, it's worth mentioning. Just the sort of roles beyond classes and routes, the roles that there are in DoD, and the way you have to kind of look at playing them and finding the value beyond just I'm going out there and trying to top frag, right? Because that's just, again, I think it's a misconception about the game that it's all about everybody going out there and getting all the kills. Like, that's not how you win generally. Certainly games can be chaotic. And then it's just, everyone's run, like that Harrington G-Skill Icy Hot game was kind of like that, where it was just like kind of 2 heavyweights bashing each other's brains in. But especially on not Harrington, pretty much any other map, there's a lot more to be said about the more fine details of the game from a team play and an individual standpoint. I think you still got to take prices right here, unless they're missing like everybody. Are they missing Corey and Riv and Leo and Pibian and Soya, right? Like, then okay, we'll start talking about it. They're missing like all but one of those guys. We can even talk about it, but I'm assuming they're going to still have at least a couple of them. Emo Frag Squad, they have a lot of potential, but I feel like they just have not really, they haven't played a lot. They tend to like get a scrim maybe every week, and like, it just, whether it goes well or not, that's the only scrim they play, or they don't play a scrim. And that's not going to really improve chemistry very quickly when that's the, you're just playing once a week plus the match. So I think that they have untapped potential still, but obviously it's the last week of the regular season. Here's the thing. Teams have done this where they don't scrim all season. They come out of the season not feeling great, but then they decide to get active in the playoffs. They have plenty of time to do that. But for this match in particular, you got to go with Price is Right, even if they're missing guys. Price is Right in position to potentially end up tied for the 1 seed. So even though we got here through a bit of a bumpy road, the teams who you expected to be there at the top are still kind of there at the top. All right. Next up, Volvo versus Clan X, and this is a big one for Clan X. Clan X, I think, has a makeup match to play too. Yes, they have to play Price is Right on Saints as well, so there's a lot of shit going down. For Volvo, Scotty, Yanni, Manor, Toki, Kingyo, Wooa with a breakout game last week. And then for Clan X, Nitrox, Rafinha, Bud, Matt, Bitchex, and Storm, I assume. And then obviously they have Lobaton and Mand able to step in there on a moment's notice. Clan X has always been a good Railroad 2 team. Volvo's got guys that are good at Railroad 2. I don't know. The map just doesn't... The maps that they're good at are pretty different from Railroad 2. But they're all really experienced, really good players. Like, there's no reason that they can't also be good at Railroad 2. And Volvo is the kind of team that you'd way rather play them early in the season. You don't want to run into them coming into playoff time because they're always at peak form at this time of the season. Beating GVMH last week. Beating, who the fuck did they beat before that? They beat somebody else. Well, they beat Revived as well. That was the Armory game. As you can see... Oh, wait, no, that says not... No, that is played, though. They almost beat Price is Right. It says 313-0, but that's not the actual score. But they were very close to beating Price is Right in that game as well. Clan X... I don't know, man. I have trouble picking against that. Every time I look at their team, I'm just like, God, that is a fucking insane team. If they have their main 6 especially, like, that is an insane team. That's a team that I wouldn't even want to play against with Thunder. That's just a lot of fucking skill to deal with and years of experience. I think Volvo absolutely can, and we've seen them have guys individually step up and go off in the biggest moments, right? Like Manor and Scotty and Toki, very, very capable of turning this thing in their favor and making things real crazy in silver. I'm going with Clan X here. Assuming, again, they have their main 6. You never know. They could be missing a guy or 2 or 3. It's entirely possible. I think this will be a close one, like a cap, give or take 10 points. But I think Clan X is able to finish. Now, the Price is Right game is a whole other story. I would have predicted this one last week, I guess. I have no idea what I said for that. I probably picked... Actually, I don't know who I would have picked. But if Price is Right... Here's the thing. Price is Right might be missing guys for... the emo game, so I assume they might be missing guys for that game as well, which means Clan X should be in good shape to be able to complete the season at the top. They only need to lose one of those games, though, for it to be problematic. They don't need to lose both of them. So either of those games a loss, and all of a sudden they're at 2 losses, and then everything, especially if it's against Price is Right, it gets real interesting. All right. Next up, Clinic versus GVMH. Both teams are at 4-4 right now. For Clinic, Tom, Sam, Insam wasn't there last week. Vic wasn't there, but he probably, I imagine, would be there this week. Alan, Debo, Walter, Scott. They got like 8 guys that are generally available different weeks. For GVMH, though, it's generally the big 3 of Raleigh, No Name, and Hooli, and then Pijisku, Aki, Sango. If not Aki, probably Knack. Railroad 2, so you got to deal with Sam and Train, right? That's the first thing. And we've seen Sam just kind of like single-handedly turn the tides for Clinic on this map. Whoever is going in the Train area for GVMH, going to have to deal with Sam. Because if Sam's running wild, Samomania will run wild all day and put up 80 kills going Train. That man knows how to find impact going Train. Sniper battle-wise, it's a fun one of Tom and Hooli. Tom obviously been one of the best snipers in silver. Hooli probably been in the top 2, right? Like, pretty much him and Darren have been the main guys in silver this season on the sniper rifle. Tom going to have to limit the damage being done by Hooli here, and he's very, very capable of doing it. If anybody out there thinks they're just going to go out and out-snipe Tom, you're in for a rude awakening. Then obviously Raleigh and No Name, they're just, they're going to get like 70 kills, right? You got to just know that and not let it frustrate you on the Clinic side. Clinic, all the teamwork in the world. And hopefully if Debo is playing, his internet is fixed. I mean, obviously just Debo being in the lineup, we saw even with shitty internet, he still was top fragging on Axis side and putting up movie clips left and right. It makes a big difference, as we talked about, when they get Debo into that lineup and add that level of chaos to the maximum teamwork buff that they've already got. Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, I don't even know what to do now in regards to like trying to not curse Clinic, because I picked against them last week and it went even worse. So now I'm like, do I pick them? Do I just not pick the game at all? What can I do to help my Clinic boys? I don't know. Oh my God, how are they losing this round? No way they're going to lose this round. Okay, they didn't. 10-10 Vitality versus Spirit now. I don't know. Let's just flip the Zin. We're going to flip the Zin. Heads is GVMH. Tails is Clinic. It's heads. Uh-oh. The Zin is spoken. GVMH then is the pick. Man, I'm sorry, Clinic, if I have cursed you even further. What I need to do is stop talking about the curse. We're going to try that next week. We're just not going to mention any of this at all. We're just going to go into it like Clinic is any other team. We're not going to talk about this because I feel like I've really, really fucked over my boys here. And I don't like it. I don't like it. That game will be a crazy game, no matter who wins. That's a game that's going to come down to like 20 or less points in either direction. I guarantee it. And last but not least, Best Buds versus Band of Morons. 2 teams with 2 losses, 6-2. For Best Buds, Hopper, War Within, Bromley, Nicholson Eats Ass, Piff, and Reptar. And, why the fuck did I just hit that? God damn it. And for Band of Morons, yeah, it's a little less certain with them. Probably like, Cody, Darren, Fetty, Drew, James, Miles, and then Paul, Cass, and Sane in that order, probably backup-wise. First of all, War Within versus Darren. We've seen Darren on this map against Nightmare be insane. They're going to have to deal with Darren, which is easier said than done. They need an idea. They need a plan to not let Darren be comfortable in those lofts. Because if he is, that's a 34 and 12 half right there out of the sniper. And that means you're probably not having apartments or mid all that often. Step 1. Step 2. The apartment side of the map, always so important on this map. You can't overstate that. Apartments is supreme. Whoever's going apartments on either side here, it's very important who wins the apartment battle. Everything else, whoever has apartments, that is going to funnel out toward middle and long and underpass. Not really train car, obviously, but that's a little bit disconnected from everything else anyways. Apartments. So Piff and Hopper in apartments for sure, I'm assuming for Best Buds, on allies at least. You're going to have to deal with Crawd over there for one thing, and Cody, 2 guys who, very much signature routes going apartments with the heavy. This is just a fun game, man. This is going to be a fun game, I guarantee. This is the match of the week. There's a lot to be decided here. They don't really get to just have this match decide exactly where they end up because Clan X kind of controls their own destiny, but we'll see. I'm going to go with Band of Morons here by 4 points. Yeah, 4 points. I feel pretty safe in saying 4 points. Are they saving? They're on a ship bye now. Ooh, man, that series is coming down to the wire. All right. On to, I have really gotten good at expediting. Oh, never mind. It's an hour and a half. Fuck me. God damn it. Expediting the time frame for these Dodcasts. Soul versus Icy Out's already done. We already went over that game. Fuck them. We don't need to talk about it again. Next up, we've got Thunder versus Over. For Thunder, Tox, Jagon, Jules, Dorito, Ryan Emo, and Hudson. No John Gale this week. Hudson is going to be opening DOD for the first time since KTP Season 2. He'll be playing a new version of one map that he probably hasn't played since 2011 and Railroad 2. So that's fun. On the over side, who will be sniping against Hudson is the first question. Is it Nightmare? Because if so, I'm so sorry, John. Is it Nick? Probably not. He hasn't played this season at all. It might be Devin. It could be Mata. With the over, there's sometimes guys who don't show up. So, like, Come, Devin, Caffrey, Sokka, SC, Nightmare, main 6. And then after that, like, Mata and Jizzy able to step in. Maybe with some notice, Nick can step in there. We haven't seen Colin yet, but again, I think Colin would be a great balance brought to this team. And then they also have ringers sometimes. No Name and SQ last week. We saw Tom a couple of weeks ago and Chi. So yeah, unclear what the lineup is going to be. Good luck, have fun. I've played over on Railroad 2 so many times in KTP. Like, it's actually crazy. When I'm looking at my movie clips folder and trying to figure out like what clip is what, I have no idea what any of it is, because if it just says like Railroad 2 over 3K, that could be any, like, I played him in Season 1 on Railroad 2 for sure. I played him in Season 4, in Season 5, in Season 6, in the playoffs, in Season 7 with TMC. That's at least 5 games that I've played against over on Railroad 2 and KTP. At least. And I could be forgetting one. Season 2... Actually, I think we played Typical on Railroad 2 in Season 2. And then we did play Railroad 2 in the playoffs, but it was against T3 in the finals. We played Harrington and Anzio against Typical. Yeah. Season 3, we played T3 on Railroad 2. Season 4, we played over. 5, we played over. 6 with 3H, we played them in the playoffs. And 7 with TMC, we played. Did I play them in the fucking Season 6 on regular season Railroad 2 as well? I mean, it's entirely possible. Where's Season 6? Railroad 2. Yep. Maybe we didn't play them in the playoffs on Railroad 2. No, we didn't. It was Lennon and Harrington. Okay, so it was actually the regular season. I was wrong. But yeah, I play against fucking over on Railroad 2 constantly. Dice, we played in the playoffs on Railroad 2. That's what it was. I knew we played Railroad 2 in the playoffs. Okay. Anyways, good luck, have fun to over. Point being that, I mean, it's just, if there's an over, which there is every season, and a Railroad 2, which there is every season, I'm probably the team playing them on it. And last but not least, the match of the week, G-Skill versus Dice, a rematch of the World Series of DOD Finals. And I like this this match. Kind of like G-Skill versus Icy Yacht. Harrington is the map I'd most want to see it on. Dice versus G-Skill, this is the map I'd most want to see it on. Railroad 2, a really good map for both teams. I think G-Skill would say that they don't love Railroad 2, but they're really good on it. Even if they don't love it, even if they feel like they get put into bad positions on it, they always end up breaking out of it really, really well. For G-Skill, Taylor, Milo, Andrew, Chuck, Frank, and Colin with 3 good backups available. For Dice, Kevin, Matt, Paul, Alex, Johnny, Chris with 3 good backups available. Oh my God, this one's going right down to the wire. Jesus. I don't know. This is a good one. I think, I never pick against G-Skill, first of all. And I'm still not picking against G-Skill because I no matter what you tell me, if G-Skill is playing, they have a chance to win in every game. You can tell me any fucking modifiers to the situation and G-Skill is still G-Skill, right? But when it comes to that, I would say this is a game where it's like I'm like 60-40, right? Dice is very good on Railroad 2, and they're very tough to play against because they are they're all over the place. You can't really, you can death notice tracking with a lot of teams, like, oh, we killed these 2 guys, so Apartments is clear. We killed these 2 guys, so 4-way is clear. Dice, I mean, they can just on a whim have 4 guys going on this side of the map out of nowhere. You have no idea. And that is obviously both a strength and a weakness. That can come back to bite them often. But on a map like this, I think it suits them. And speaking as somebody who got our asses absolutely cleaned out by DICE on Railroad 2 in the Season 6 playoffs. Like, I've never been beaten that badly on Railroad 2 in my DoD career, ever. I've lost games on Railroad 2. They're generally pretty close. This was a shellacking. They were playing us 5-on-6 for the majority of their allied side, and we capped out, I think it was 3 times while we were playing 6-on-5, and we still lost the game by like over a cap out. Like, they are that good. Alex is oh my God, it's going to overtime. Alex is so tough to play because there's so many rangy fights for him to take, and he is so favored in those fights. Kevin in the lofts, obviously, so tough to deal with. Paul and Chris in apartments, just really, really good at playing off of each other, kind of like splitting the duties based on who is where and the spawn timing and everything. But the thing is, G-Skill loves playing in that chaos too, man. That's not a lot of teams, when faced with that chaos, have a good answer for it. G-Skill kind of thrives in that situation, which is the biggest reason that I still lean towards G-Skill here. If you put Thunder in the same situation, we would crumble. Because as soon as things get out of hand like that, people are going to make bad decisions. The comms are going to start to break down. Even if it's not like the comms are crazy or whatever, it's like they're just not, the information that needs to come through isn't. You're getting like bare minimum or no info. And that's when you most need all the info. Like, you need that extra call of not just I died to Kaboom on balcony, but hey, I also saw the sniper in loft and a nade came out of ticket. So there's also sniper loft and a guy in ticket. Like those little bonus portions of the calls are most important in that chaos, and that's something that G-Skill will always have. They do not lose that along the way, regardless of what's happening in the game. So again, styles make fights. You put DICE up against, I would say, anyone else on Railroad 2, and I'm definitely picking DICE. I think they are so good on this map. This is the map that, like I said it going into the LAN, oh good, for the groups we get to play G-Skill on Harrington, the one map I would least want to play them on, and DICE on Railroad 2, the one map I would least want to play them on. Awesome. And yeah, I still feel that way right now. Like, I think DICE, it may be their best map. If I had to pick one map to be their best map, I think I would pick Railroad 2. But again, G-Skill, I think, is the team that is going to be the best matchup in this situation on Railroad 2 against this team. So I go G-Skill. I think this will be a barn burner of a game, though. Definitely within a cap, I'll tell you that much. And I'm sure it's going to end up being single digits. Like, I'm going to say G-Skill by 11. 11. Let's go with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 11. Best score in KTP Gold. All right. That is the final regular season prediction episode of the Dodcast. I'm guessing, because, playoffs get crazy and there's a lot of games and shit, I'm guessing there will end up being 2 Dodcast episodes for next week, where I'll recap Railroad 2 and then do a whole playoff preview one. We'll see. I'll probably do it by feel, while I'm doing the recap episode, if it's going quickly, I'll just keep going and do the predictions for the playoffs. And then if it gets a little bit too long, if I'm at an hour and I haven't started predictions yet, then I'll probably just do a separate episode. Once again, thank you, War Within, for all the Frag of the Week service to the community, literally carrying the Frag of the Week game in KTP. After Railroad 2 Frag of the Week this week, he is done. So if ever there was a time that you need to submit, everybody just submit. If you get a clip this week, submit it to War Within. It's fine. It's just one clip. Even if your thought process is still I gotta save clips for my movie, it's just one clip. It's not going to make or break your movie. Trust me. Trust me on this. This is one thing you can definitely trust me on. It's okay. Give this man a chance to have only the absolute best clips possible for one final Frag of the Week here. Good season, everybody. Go out there and finish it off strong. Get ready for a bunch of best of threes in the playoffs. And, we'll see you guys on Sunday. Be ready to record HLTVs, because as we just saw last week, if I get all the HLTVs, I'll fucking do them all, man. You can't stop me. I'm going to cast everything, even if my fucking voice and asshole fall out because of it when all is said and done. Mwah!